Hey guys, how's it going? This is Hala Pablo. Let's pick up where we left off yesterday. We were looking at Bitcoin and using these three different charts to kind of get an idea of where we are and where we may be going in the near future. That's what it's all about, right? Where are we going? Where we are and where we're going. Should never trade an unclear pattern. That's it's one of my watchwords that I go by. You need to understand where we are in the grand scheme of things, in this case on the macro and also on the micro. And so on the macro, we begin to just get a feel for the waves of the present structure that we're bouncing around in. And it would be this channel, rising channel, aka wedge. Kind of is a wedge. Some people insist, oh, it's an ascending parallel channel. But these things turn out to morph into wedges, either expanding or narrowing wedges. In this case, it looks like it's a traditional wedge. We have a series of higher highs. So people are saying Bitcoin is forming a triple, like a triple top, 1, 2, and then this 5 wave going up will be the third top. If you were to look at this on a macro, I mean, this is on the 3-day, so this buying climax here goes back to 2017, and then the selling climax. All of this comprises one gigantic bull cycle, December of 18, and then we have the counter trend, top and bottom, go back down to the macro support, and then we begin the whole new cycle again with this reversal that occurs right at this midpoint line. This dotted line would be like the channel midpoint or the wedge midpoint. Or if we were measuring it, it would be the 0.5 Fibonacci on the macro scale. And then we go back up to macro trend resistance, and we peak out here. We have a double, like a retest, and then we came back down. And now presently, we're back up again, reaching for the 0.5 Fibonacci again, as we've made our way higher up into this wedge or, channel, depending on how you look at it. Now, we can reasonably expect to hit this midpoint again, which, like we talked about yesterday, would put Bitcoin at around $80,000 for any chance of, say, like a real retracement, a macro retracement, in which case it would be kind of like this, selling off at this area here after this all-time high. How it sold off and remitigated the lows. You see this liquidity void here, even though we're on, riding the macro trend support line, how it came back down and retested here, the macro trend support, and even went lower as a terminal shakeout before the commencement of the bull reversal that took place in the year 2020. I remember that, don't you? So that we could be looking at something like similar to that if we were to hit this $80 price area, which would be a very strong resistance point, as we see here. Traditionally, it's been a strong resistance. It's also been a strong support. We see two bounces off it. So it's a key area that we need to pay attention to as analysts. See, we had the bounce here, and then it had several bounces. If we zoom in here, 1, 2, 3, 4 bounces where it reconsolidated here, and then we had the redistribution. It wasn't able to hold it, so it fell through. And so this is now a very, very strong resistance line. And since then we've come back up and we've mitigated this liquidity void here. See this liquidity void. Some people call them CME gaps. But again, we are up at this area here. And like I said, if we were to come back up, which I think we're going to do, and retest it, we're just gonna put Bitcoin this time at around $80,000. So if you're going to momentum trade Bitcoin from the present location of where we are at 68.5 up to 80, I mean that's a very, very juicy momentum drive, or swing even. Just be careful around that area. I'd be putting limit sells at around 78, between 75 and 78 just to get out, so we don't have like what happened just a little while ago after we broke 70,000 and we had that flash sell off that came down and just burned all those stop losses. It was basically a liquidity grab. We've since come back up. It was a fake out. I mean, it was a clear bull trap. But when it happens, when we get those macro retracements, either here at the 0.5 fib line or up here at the macro trend resistance, those boys don't play, because that's going to be a real retracement. It's going to be something like we saw here. You know, we're not going to keep going. It's going to come back down, and it's going to mitigate the area down here at the macro trend support line. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that, and so you don't get trapped up here holding overbought Bitcoin. So eventually the end game, and this is going to happen, is once we hit this 5 wave. Now, those of you who know wolf wave theory, just you know, like real quick, this is the 1 wave, this is the 2 wave, this is the 3 wave, this is the 4 wave here, and then 5, we're en route to the 5. Now, sometimes it bifurcates, like here for 2, we had the 1, and the 2 is split with this mitigation point that bounced off the 0.5. This all counts for 1 wave here. And the same thing can happen here. If the 4 wave gets rejected off the midpoint and comes back down first, that's going to still count as the 4 wave. And then from there, we should shoot back up. And that'll be the real reversal. That'll be the real reversal. We'll know that because it'll go through the 0.5 fib like it did here. And then we're talking about Bitcoin going into the 6 digits. That's what people are talking about when they say Bitcoin 100,000, Bitcoin this and that. You know, that is after we've crossed through the channel midpoint. But before that, I just want to let you guys know we could be in store for a retracement back down to this area, which would be at least to the macro trend support line, which would bring us down into the mid 40s. So that could very, very well happen. And that would be a 50% drop. So that would be something like they saw here. And then we can even go lower than that and mitigate down here. How this one went lower, this terminal shakeout went beneath the macro trend support before the reversal. And then it just shot up and there was no stopping it after this. It made all-time highs. And we went up to a whole new distribution system up here, a whole new Wyckoff top. So that's what we're looking at. But I'm not going to kid myself. There's, you got to be careful when you do these things, and always be wary of those of the sell-offs, because these market makers do not play, guys. Bitcoin is the most sought after commodity on earth right now. Okay, let me repeat that. It is the most sought after commodity on earth. It used to be what? What used to be? It used to be gold, right? In centuries past, it used to be, before that, and there are elements like, gold, oil, things like that were sought after. Today, Bitcoin is digital gold, and there's a gold rush. Okay. And so everyone is gunning for Bitcoin, and the market makers, the institutions, Wall Street, the global financial system, they dropped the ball. They were sleeping while Bitcoin appreciated all those years from 2013 up, and everyone took it as a joke. I didn't take Bitcoin seriously. I was presented with the opportunity to buy Bitcoin. I was presented with the opportunity to start accumulating Ethereum at $40. I had people come to me, but I was too busy flipping cars, buying real estate, and such. The traditional investments, and I didn't take Bitcoin seriously. Well, guess what? I'm not alone. There were a lot of people with deeper pockets than me, with connections up in the upper echelons of these clubs that I'm not a part of, you're not a part of, and they slept on it as well. No one took it seriously until just about 5 or 6 years ago. And so now they're catching up. Now they're coming with a vengeance to accumulate as much of this stuff as they can. And that means whole-scale manipulation. Big time manipulation. If you think it's going to do something, if the herd thinks that it's going to go one way, You could bet your bottom dollar. It may go that one way for a bit, but that's just to gather more sheep for the slaughter. And then they're going to pull the floor out and they're going to hang all the sheep. They do not want you. They do not want me owning a bunch of Bitcoin. They don't want us owning. And Bitcoin is just the tip of the iceberg of crypto. It's the king of crypto. It's got the largest market cap, but there are so many other coins also that they are campaigning, that they have campaigns that are afoot to accumulate. Zcash is another one, I believe. Zcash is a sleeping giant. But make no mistake, when these awaken, it's going to be war. It's going to be whole scale warfare, and not just hand-to-hand combat. We're talking, atomic warfare, nuclear, chemical warfare. They're going to come after you with everything to try to get those coins, to trick you, to get to think it's going one way and it's going to go another way. And it's been like that forever. It's been like that since the markets have been trading since the 1800s. It's just now it's so much more pronounced in this digital age, and they're on a very ardent mission to get rid of this, because, and when I say get rid of it, I mean them to own it and make it out of reach for retail. And that is because it poses a threat to the CBDCs that are also in the makes of being turned out. The CBDCs is the Fed coin. So they don't want you owning crypto. They want you to put your money in fiat, in the central currency of whatever country you're from. But the decentralized currencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, Zcash, Dash, Chainlink, all of these, they're all decentralized. So it's very scary for them. So what do? The powers that be, they create hyper volatility in them. And if that doesn't spook you out, then they deceive you, they trick you, they use psychology, psychological warfare, like what we just saw now with Bitcoin. Now we go to the macro. We'll go to the micro now and see what's going on. This, by the way, this is the micro format of this. What we just came out of was the 3-day, right? This is the 3-day up here that I marked up. See how it's this rising channel, aka wedge? Well, that's on the 3-day. So each line, each candle represents 3 days. And then we switch to the micro format, and each candle here represents 30 minutes. But yet, look at the similarity in the geometric structure. And we have the 1 wave, the 2 wave, the 3 wave, the 4 wave, and we're making our way up to the micro. Now this would be the micro midpoint of this rising channel, which would be the 0.5 Fibonacci in this fractal format. And we've made our way up. Here's a little secret. What we see the waves do on the micro eventually manifest in the macro. This plays out so much faster, obviously, because these are 30 minutes versus 3 days per candle. But if we see an attempt up towards, for example, in this one, like we just saw, with Bitcoin broke the 70,000. So it made a new all-time high, but then it promptly got rejected off the 0.5 Fibonacci. Now that would translate over on the macro to 80,000, and we got rejected. So it's quite possible that we're going to experience a rejection on the 80,000 up in the macro, back up in here where we're headed. So we're swing trading on the micro, and it's kind of giving us glimpses, if you will, of what could very well transpire on the macro. So we need to be cognizant of that. We need to understand that and keep that into consideration as we're setting our profit targets if we're swinging Bitcoin at these heights. Okay? So now a lot of people are asking me about the altcoins. What's going on with the altcoins? And my answer is traditionally the altcoins, altcoin season begins after usually Bitcoin hits its all-time high and then consolidates. So we've already seen that we've already broken the all-time high with Bitcoin, but we haven't really consolidated yet. We've consolidated on the micro, but I'm talking about a macro consolidation. See, we can't really count the waves within this rising wedge on the on the 30-day as consolidation. We're basically riding the micro trend support line, but we still have that climb. We're still trending within it. But when we're consolidating, we're not really trending. We're crabbing. It's a period of just latency for Bitcoin, and that is usually historically when the altcoins have their day in the sun, and then we begin to see the meme coins like Shiba Inu and such really make a run for it. And so I think that in this present bull run that we're embarking on, we're going to see the meme coins are going to be the star of the show. I think we're going to see coins like Bonk. We're going to see coins like Flocky, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin. Coins like that in their respective ecosystems really outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. In fact, they've been doing that thus far, and the bull market hasn't even, I mean, we're still like in this counter trend beneath the 0.5 fib on the macro wedge. So we could retrace at any point after Bitcoin hits the midpoint, and yet these alts, these meme coins in particular, are already on fire. So what's that going to mean when Bitcoin loses its dominance? It goes into latency after it makes its high, wherever that is. I don't have a crystal ball, but at some point it's going to do that. Then, I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of what some of these coins are going to be doing. So I'm real excited about it. You should be real excited about it. We're at the threshold of a major wealth opportunity accumulation. We are so blessed to be born in these times. It's akin to, I guess, being born in the 20s and being alive in the 1920s at the threshold of the Industrial Revolution, and being able to like buy shares in steel or Ford Motor Company or oil or what, and if it was presentable and cheap at the time, and we had the foresight to do that. It's kind of like that. I think 50 years from now they're going to look back at this embryonic stage of crypto and say, how lucky were those guys to be around at that time and buy in to Bitcoin at $30,000, Ethereum at $2,000, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, all of these coins now, Zcash at $30, for crying out loud. So, we need to, we like to look back and say, man, if I'd only bought Bitcoin in 2010, if I only, all I needed was $100 in Bitcoin, I'd be a multimillionaire right now. And yeah, I mean, it's very tempting to think about those things. I think about them too, but the truth is we have opportunity today to build wealth right here at our doorstep. And then 10 years from now, we're either going to look back at this time in March of 2024 and say, boy, am I glad that I bought and held, or man, I should have bought more of this and held this and not sold. So we have to seize the moment, guys. That's what all this is about. Another thing that I think is going to fly soon is going to be the banking and finance coins that the Securities and Exchange Commission has had their guns on. Cody, Near Protocol, things like that. Chili's, anything that facilitates a payment platform that comes into and encroaches upon the territory and the mode of what the CBDCs are trying to accomplish. So those are also going to be, but I think before that, we're going to see just real dominance in the meme coins for this bull run. Okay, guys? So I'm excited to see what happens. I am watching Bitcoin on the micro ride this up, and I'm taking it day by day, just like you. Remember, nobody has a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. I get it wrong. But the thing is, what you have to acknowledge is the markets are always correct. If our TA is wrong, it's wrong. We're wrong, and we have to adapt. Okay, it's wrong to be a perma bull or a perma bear. It's wrong. You need to be a bear when it's time to be a bear, and you need to be a bull when it's time to be a bull. Okay, you have to go with the market. You can't beat the market, so you join it. You can't beat the market makers, so you join the market makers. You do what they do, right? Because they're the authority. They've got the billions. They can move Bitcoin up and down. They can use the news as a catalyst to move the Bitcoin in ways that destroys retail. And that's the name of the game. Like it goes back to everyone is going for this gold, and there's just limited gold. There's 21 million gold nuggets, all right? And they are trying to hoard as many of these gold nuggets as they can. And once they have the gold nuggets, then they're gonna pump out and they're gonna shine the light on the CBDC. And guess what? Those of us who didn't accumulate, those of us who weren't into it then, it's gonna be too late at that point. Okay, all this is gonna be a distant memory. You know, going back to how I wish I'd bought Ford in 1922, how I wish I'd invested in steel. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you go at that. We'll get into some more of this later, but I've got stuff to do, and it was fun. I hope some of you got something out of this. If you like this kind of technical analysis, I know we didn't do too much technical analysis today, but hopefully you got something out of it. Like, subscribe, and don't miss any more updates. Crypto's hopping, and as I can, I'll be putting out more and more updates on what I think is hot, what I think we need to watch. All right, guys, thank you very much. Check out my charts on TradingView, and yeah, you'll see I have exceptionally high win rates, so there is a method to my madness here. So, all right, I'm going to let you go, and wishing you a safe and happy day. Strong hands, profitable trading, not financial advice, but you already knew that, right? All right, guys. All right, I'm out of here. Bye.